So this message is to my dear daughter and my mother. Because you live in Nottingham and I live in Gravesend, I'm not going to be able to see you very much because when the road tax rules change and I have to pay per mile, the chances are that it's going to be far too expensive, along with the fuel bill, that either of us are not going to be able to see each other. And I guess FaceTime or WhatsApp video call or Zoom is really going to be the only way, because road tax in the UK is about to change. So if you're driving, expect lots of differences, including the one that I saw about new drivers. You're not allowed to carry passengers unless you've got like 6 or 12 months experience, and you're over 25. But check that out, because that's another rule that's about to hit following the recent changes in government. Great stuff, because, you know, safety is paramount. And also, you know, you want to protect the environment. So too many cars on the road now and too many people. And so, you know, overall it needs to be controlled a bit, and the tighter restrictions mean that not as many people will be able to afford to really make that journey. In a way, I think it's a really, really good thing. I'm just glad that it's kicking in after I've left. But when I come back to see my ma and my daughter, I suppose we're just going to have to, I mean, maybe I'll buy a house near her or something, actually. It's better to just live next door to your family, and then life will be easier. But if you want to go anywhere else, like entertainment or enjoyment or things like that, just be prepared that you are going to pay per mile. And kids, I don't envy you.
This next video, this is the absolute state of our country, and this is what the cutbacks to disability allowance is doing to real people in this country. It really saddens me. I don't know what the answer is. I'm sure the government will say, you know, there are certain reasons why they've got to do what they're doing, but this is the impact that it's having on real people, real life people. I opened up, I don't know what it was, something today, and somebody sent me this video and said, have a look at this, Nick. You know, this is the absolute state of where we're at. Let me show you.
Hi, I'm just having a sit down. I've been to the dentist. I need to have a crown fitted on my broken tooth. It's going to cost £320. That's more than 1 month's PIP. That's a lot of money. Under the new PIP proposals, I will lose my PIP altogether. There's absolutely no way I'll be able to afford things like NHS dentistry.
And unfortunately, that's the sad reality of what's going on right now in what was once Great Britain. You're having people that are no longer able to afford things like root fillings, crowns, fillings on their teeth on the NHS. I don't know where this ends. I sometimes just have to turn off my social media and have a day where I'm not looking at things, because I do understand we are trapped in echo chambers, and maybe for every one of those people like you've just watched or listened to, there are 100 people that are going to benefit from it. I don't know. But surely there's got to be a better way than this. I really don't know what the answer is.
So a Labour MP has just quit the government over the proposed welfare cuts. She's the first one to quit the government over this, and it's very important because of who she is and what her position is. So her name is Vicky Foxcroft, and you've probably never heard of her. She's not one of the most famous Labour MPs out there, but her position as a government whip is very important because it's her job to get negotiations with other MPs, to organise them, to get them to vote, to make sure that legislation gets through. And she has quit because she cannot get this legislation through. She cannot in good conscience vote for it, never mind get other MPs to vote for it, because that would have been her job. And she has probably been talking with MPs for months about trying to, you know, negotiate, make changes, make the bill slightly better, but she just can't do it in good conscience. And my guess is that she is going to be the first of many to quit. And she specifically said in her resignation letter that she can't in good conscience put this bill forward to try and force people back into work by cutting benefits. She believes that we should be helping support people back into work by incentivizing them, by helping them more, by giving them more resources. And now she's quit, and probably more are going to follow.
So it's going to be a big day for a lot of people out there today when the government come out and show all these benefit cuts and everything. I think it's going to make a lot of people very worried, and it's going to make hard times even worse for a lot of people. Now, it's not a nice subject. It's, you know what I mean? let me get this straight. I actually agree that, yes, the benefit system needs to be looked at. It needs to be seen as who's getting what and what benefits are getting in. Because, to be honest with you, speaking to a lot of people, there's a lot of benefits out there that people are claiming that are not even in this country. Now, how can that, you know what I mean, be liable? So that needs to be looked at first. Stop just getting on the vulnerable people. Mental health, disabilities are a nightmare to live with. Now, I live with that. I have a disability. I have to medicate myself quite regular. It forces me sometimes to be absolutely inoperable. I can't walk, can't talk, can't do anything. And it's not a nice thing to live with. Now, to be told that I'm going to have to, you know what I mean, not have a benefit that helps me quite drastically. And trust me, I'm not talking loads of money. I'm talking just quite a small little bit of money that I get. But it helps me a lot. And it puts that little bit of security in my head. Now that's going to go. Where am I going to go? What's going to happen to me? My condition is not going to go away. It's for the rest of my life. And I can't do anything about that. I've just got to carry on taking the medication. But I just think people have missed a trick as well, because also on the news, I mean, credit cards from the government, issued by the government, have been frozen today because of £675 million overspend. And that is on wasteful things. That's not on productive things, that's on wasteful things. So the government is spending £675 million on buying a newspaper when they get a train to go down to Parliament. Oh my God, I mean, are people brain dead? Honestly, it baffles me that these people are still in this and running this country. Honestly, it just, oh. But anyway, I just really hope everybody's safe out there. Just try and keep positive, try and keep going. I can say words, it is what it is, you know what I mean? They're going to do what the shit they like. They've done nothing that they've said they were going to do. They've done absolutely the opposite and lied about everything. So I hope everybody who voted Labour's happy with that.
If you care about the UK government's welfare cuts but don't quite actually understand what that's going to look like, then let me explain in this short video. So first, PIP, or Personal Independence Payments, is currently paid to over 3.6 million people who currently suffer with a long-term mental or physical condition, and is made up of essentially two payment components, the daily living component and the mobility component. So under the new plans, it's going to be harder to qualify for the daily living part, where now you're going to have to score at least 4 points in a task assessment, as opposed to 1 or 2 across several tasks as it was before. The OBR estimates that this is going to affect around 800,000 people, not to mention that there are going to be more frequent assessments, except for those with permanent and severe conditions. Second, we have universal credit, which is currently paid to about 7.5 million people to help with their living costs. It too is split up into 2 essential components. So the first is a basic level of universal credit pay, which is worth just under £400. And then if you have a limited capacity to work, you are then entitled to an extra top up on top of that, which is worth just over £400. Under the government's current proposals, that incapacity top up will not rise with inflation after 2026. And for new claimants, it is going to decrease drastically. Not to mention the fact that you now have to be age 22 or over to receive it in the first place. The government says that instead it's going to raise the basic rate of universal credit, but over 2 million current recipients are still set to lose out. Altogether, voices in opposition to these changes are remarkably loud, and many media outlets are saying that Starmer could face a rebellion. What do you think about the changes? Do you think they're going to go ahead? And let me know if you found this video helpful in the comments.
All I've heard today from the Labour government is that they have our backs. How do you feel about that? Starmer keeps waffling on about how he's putting more money in your pocket, how he's securing the borders, how he's rebuilding the NHS, and how they're building so many new houses. Yet, does it feel like he's got your back? Because last time I checked, the country's in a mess. So this week already, we've had cars driving into crowds in the UK. We've had a white man in central London who was racially attacked because he was the only white man there. Also called a no-go zone in our own capital city. Sounds brilliant, Starmer. Country is on the up. I'm just so bored of them lying to us constantly, gaslighting all of us, telling us they're doing one thing and literally doing the other. I thought it was bad enough they lied in their manifesto before getting elected and then went back on all their words, but they're still just gaslighting us, they're still lying to us, and they're still in power. It's got to stop, man. How are we in 2025 and the people in charge of this country are allowed to lie to us, allowed to manipulate us, are allowed to gaslight us? Doesn't seem very right, considering we pay their wages and we officially or unofficially elect them in through the democratic way. Something's got to give. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I just don't know what to say anymore, to be honest with you. There's not enough people standing up together in this country. There's not enough people uniting against what's going on. There's not enough people who are angry. People aren't angry enough. I'm livid, and I'm still not angry enough. I do think civil unrest is on the way in the next few years, but why are we not doing anything about it now? Why are we allowing them to rinse us financially, mentally, give it all to the people that are undeserving, in my opinion? People that haven't worked, haven't paid tax, haven't lived here their whole life, haven't, raised a family, looked after their elderly. Why do they get everything? Just done with it, to be honest with you.
Well, it looks like the Doge Squad, the Reform Doge Squad, are finding more wasted money. You know your TV licence that keeps going up, and then if you say I don't want to pay it, you get a knock on the door, threats and all of that crap. Well, look what Reform Doge have found. There you go. Reform UK Doge team has found that Kent County Council is using taxpayer money to pay for licence fees for asylum seekers. So, Mr. Smith, that can't afford his TV licence because his council tax has gone up, his water's gone up, his electricity bill's gone up, the interest rate's gone up, so that his mortgage has gone up. They're getting the TV licences paid for. Now, some people might say, well, they've got to be able to do something. I get that. But can we first get our own house in order before we start paying for things like that for everybody else, all and sundry? I mean, it's not as though the UK government are borrowing more money than ever and then giving it all away, is it? I don't know. What do you think about that one?
You are going to love this one. The Prime Minister of Mauritius has just announced massive tax cuts for his people. And guess who's footing the bill? You. Yes, the British taxpayer. Keir Starmer handed over the Chagos Islands and almost £500 million in the process. Mauritius are using it to wipe out their national debt, raise minimum wage, and scrap income tax for 81% of their citizens. These are not rumours either. These were all confirmed and announced in their budget speech recently. Starmer also tried to downplay the cost of the deal. £3.4 billion, he said. No big deal. The documents, however, show that it could be as much as £30 billion over the 99 years. Just slightly more than. We are told that we have no money, that the country is in a massive black hole of financial debt. But no problem, we'll just pay another country's tax bill for the next 99 years. The best part, though, the people of Diego Garcia still don't get to go home, which is all they actually wanted. So it turns out that the human rights lawyer doesn't really care about human rights at all, does he? Can't make it up with this government, can you? Let me know what you think of this in the comments.
Hey guys, I've got a question for you. I want to know, do you want Keir Starmer to resign right now? Because I am really cheesed off with this muppet. This muppet and his circus acting government. We got Rachel Reeves from The Office. We got Angela Rayner, who doesn't know what day of the week it is. And we got that nutter who's going on about the environment all the time, net zero. But who wants Keir Starmer to resign now? He's now wanting to send surveys out to disabled people. He wants to know what they're spending their money on. He's taxing pensioners, for Christ's sake. He's taxing their state pension. More than 50% of people are being taxed. That's pensioners being taxed. But within 2 years, every single pensioner is going to be taxed. What for? To send all this money abroad? He sent more money abroad than any other Prime Minister. So I want to know, do you want to see Keir Starmer resign today? Have you had enough of the Muppet Show? Have you had enough of the Muppets in power? And do you need a new leadership? Let me know in the comments below if you want to see the senior Muppet resign, along with the other Muppets.
I'm just going to put this out there, and Keir Starmer doesn't speak for me as a British citizen. No way does he. There is no way that I think it is a good and sensible decision to go up against President Trump and Putin. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I think he needs to take a step back and concentrate on what's going on in our country, protect our borders and see what's going on in our country before you start pitting a war against the likes of Putin and President Trump. What I don't know what is wrong, and everyone's saying the dictators. What is Keir Starmer doing? What is he doing? I don't think he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't speak for the majority of British people. I can tell you that now.
UK Parliament are supposed to be announcing that they're cutting more money, they're doing more spending cutbacks in the UK, and the majority of those spending cutbacks are to be taken from the welfare budget, I've heard on the radio this morning. Tell me why in the next breath, the next segment on that radio announcement news thing, we're having massive services and poppy celebrations and things like that, and stuff for Armistice or Remembrance Day. I'm not anti-patriotic whatsoever. If you want to wear your poppy and celebrate and remember, knock yourself out. But why the are people who are struggling having money taken from them, and we're spending millions of the UK taxpayers' money celebrating something that's happened over 100 years ago? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Someone please tell me what I'm misunderstanding here.
When Parliament had the chance to vote for a national inquiry into the grooming gangs that destroyed the lives of thousands of British children and their families, what did they do? 364 MPs said no. Not a single Labour MP backed that inquiry, not one. Here are some of the names on that list: Rushanara Ali, Yvette Cooper, Rosina Allen Khan, Tanmanjeet Singh Desi, Stella Creasy, Imran Hussain, Afzal Khan, Jess Phillips, Yasmin Qureshi. All of them voted against an inquiry. When it came to protecting British children, they chose to look the other way. It makes me question the priorities of our MPs. They put their own political interests, their own vote banks, before our British children. I've noticed that some of the same MPs are also the ones who condemn Israel. But we are meant to believe that this is just coincidence, that there's no bias, that this is what representation looks like. No, I see it. I believe we all see it. Labour has shown what it stands for, and it doesn't seem to be British children or the British public in general. I think we've all had enough. Britain should come first, always.
We're ruled by a political class that's lost all connection to real life. They've sold off our services, stripped down our rights, and now act shocked when we're angry. But what else did they expect? You can only kick people down for so long before they rise up. They say, we're all in this together. But when things go wrong, it's never them that suffer. It's always us. So, if you're done being lied to, done being used, and done being blamed, hit that subscribe button. Tell me in the comments. What's the biggest betrayal you felt from our so-called leaders? Because here on Brit Rants, we're not backing down, and we're not shutting up.
Don't get caught out. Here are the new driving laws for 2025. From the 1st of April, electric cars will no longer be exempt from car tax. New EVs will pay £10 in the first year and £195 annually after that. Do you own an EV that's worth over £40,000? If so, you'll pay an expensive car supplement of £410 for 5 years. From December 25th, all vehicles, including electric and hydrogen, will have to pay a £15 London congestion charge. By the end of 2025, all petrol stations must show real-time fuel prices through the new Fuel Finder scheme. This will tell you the cheapest places to fill up to help you save on fuel costs. 20 miles an hour is going to be the new default speed limit for residential and urban areas in Scotland this year. What do you think about these new driving laws? Let us know in the comments.
Proof road tax is a scam.
For cyclists, when they don't even pay road tax or anything, yeah. But the roads for car drivers and shit, yeah, are totally up. Like, you'll see later on in this video, fresh cycle lanes fucking for car drivers, mate. The people that pay road tax, you've been scammed, mate. Be a spot for cars to park, so they could go in the shops or go in this takeaway here. But motherfuckers, now they made it into cycle lanes. Where the fuck are cars meant to park? So that's why I said, it's been like this for months. And they haven't started this yet. But the fucking road fucked up. This is like most of the car because of fucking shit like this.
Fucking stay on this road. Oh no, it's stuck. Gotta stay up the road. How this?
But yeah, they wanna fucking pay billions for cycle lanes. But yeah, can't sort roads like this up.
UK road tax. Here's one for you. Randomly. Well, not randomly. So you've got 2 cars and you've got a bike, right? You're paying road tax on each. So I'm paying like, you're paying like a couple £100 for the car, like a couple £100 for the van, and then you're paying like, what, I don't know, £50 for the bike. Adds up. But what's road tax actually pay for? Well, it's meant to pay for the maintenance and, the looking after the roads. Well, yeah, that's sound, but why the f*** am I paying road tax for 3 vehicles? I can't drive all of them at the same f***ing time, can I? I can drive one, then I can get out of that, and I can drive the other. But you're billing me as if I'm using all 3. What the f*** is up with that, UK government? Scam.
Oh my god, guys, if you drive in the UK, what the f***'s happening right now? Driving law changes launching in June, which happened yesterday. See new licence rules, HMRC, fuel updates and more. Listen to this. So if you own a petrol, diesel or electric car, you're in for it. So if you own a petrol car over 1.4 litres, guess what you get? A 1p cut. So if you're spending 15p at the moment on a mile, now you're going to be spending 14p a mile. Wow. If you've got over a 2 litre car, you're going to be paying 23p a mile. But this is now 22p. What the f***? This is life-changing direct cuts to the f***ing people of the UK. Here's where it gets a bit wild. They're saying the electric cars to run are 7p a mile, but they're going to be unchanged. Even though they just said that there's going to be big changes to electric, petrol and everything cars, there's fucking no changes at all when you look at it. 1p, what the f***'s that?
Is it just me that looks at these guys in America with all these cars? And I'm looking in the UK and I can barely get insured on a flipping Corsa. I'm looking at guys my age driving Hellcats, Trackhawks, Uruses. And I'm here and I'm struggling to even get a quote on a flipping Vauxhall 2010 Corsa. And it really makes me think, should I even live in this country anymore? Because if them brothers in the USA are buying all these cars, and I'm here and I'm like, it's not even buying a car is a problem, it's insurance. I might as well just leave. I haven't heard one American brother say insurance is a problem. Not one. The prices that we get insured on Corsas, they're getting insured on flipping Lamborghinis. But UK is not the problem.
Hi folks, so in the news today it is seen that Labour's Rachel Reeves is set to slap drivers with a 2k electric car tax increase, £2,000 electric increase on luxury vehicles worth over £40,000 a year. Now, as we know, electric vehicles were meant to be exempt from road tax, but we're not surprised. Labour have backpedalled, as like they've backpedalled on everything they've done this year and broken every promise they've made to us. And they are going to have to start charging people for using electric vehicles. Now, the smaller cars are going to be charged, I think, £10 for the year, for the first year. And after that, it's going to go up to £190 a year. That's what I've read online. Now, I don't know about you, but, you know, the whole point of encouraging people to get electric cars was to reduce pollution, so it made sense not to charge them road tax, because that was the whole point of switching, was that, you know, it was cleaner for the environment. Now, I'm personally not a lover of electric cars. I think they need a lot of work doing to them. Everyone I know who's got one has regretted buying one because they said they'd had problems with it. The battery doesn't charge as well. You know, it's not cost efficient. It's not as good as what they were led to believe, and they've had a lot of teething problems with them. Now, this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. You know, I don't know anyone who's actually happy with Labour and anything they've done since they've got in, because all they've done is, you know, betray the working class people and backpedal on everything they said they wouldn't do, every tax they wouldn't raise, and they wouldn't do this, wouldn't do that. But lo and behold, they've gone and done it anyway. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, guys. You know, I personally don't think this is good. I think this is, you know, quite a nasty thing that they've done. But let me know what you think. You know, I personally think in the next sort of 5 to 10 years, it's going to get to the point working class people just won't be able to afford to drive. I mean, you know, I probably do about 8,000 miles in my car. Thankfully, my car's ULEZ compliance and it's petrol, but, you know, that could only be for another couple of years. They might change it so that all cars have to be electric. Otherwise, you know, you'll have to pay. So, yeah, you know, I just think this is going to cripple the working class people. It's going to get to the point only rich people will be able to afford to have cars, and it's, you know, it's just going to ruin a lot of people's lives. So let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Be interested to hear people's views on this.